Hello and welcome to Wolf-N-Shorty Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing the Telico C21 dash camera. This is from Amazon. I did get it to review free. It normally runs right about $49. Here's the basic unit. And on the back side you have your emergency button here, so if an accident happens, you hit it, it automatically records. You have your menu button up and down. Another one here, I think that's actually for like your select. You have your power over here. You have your record. This unit mounts with the slide at the very top. You also have camera's reversed, so it's kind of a pain to use. You have your mini USB is your charger that you actually wrap around. It comes with about 13 feet of charging cable, so it works quite well to run around the edge of your liner down to where you want to lock it in at. That right there is where you can put your HDMI cable to play it onto a TV, and audio jack so you can listen to it. Here's the side, that's where you actually have your buttons at, and then on the other side that's where you have your other buttons, and your micro USB or micro SD card will go in. It goes, I believe it's only 32 gigabytes. It does have an auto overwrite. We have it set for 5-minute intervals, so every 5 minutes it goes to a new file. When it maxes out, it automatically goes to the first file recorded and overwrites it. If it detects an impact, it'll lock it in. We did test it. When we first activate, then we lock it into the windshield, it would have enough of a jarring that it actually locked that file. So the file doesn't come up as just the basic file, it would actually say locked, and then a bunch of zeros and a 1. That indicates the file's locked, it doesn't overwrite, and you actually have to pull it and delete it, or you go in through this thing and actually find it, take it off the lock, and then you can delete it. The quality of the video on this is actually quite good for the cost. You have, I believe, as I'm reviewing it, you do have your reset button if you had to reset the whole system. I believe these are going to be your microphones, maybe speakers, but I'm assuming it's microphones because it does pick up audio very well. This is not actually the original mounting bracket. The original mounting bracket, everything worked just fine except for the suction cup. And this is the original one. Now, it might be too easy to see, but that rip right there is actually what caused the problem. When I took it off the first time, I actually mounted it. It worked fine for one day. Shorty brought it back. I decided to take it off of her windshield to clean it because these things are all set to about a f-stop of about 2. So it's not really far out, but it's set to focus close up, and it will still reach for the distance so you can see things, but it's supposed to be clear closer in so you can get license plates of vehicles close up. And if you review YouTube videos on insurance scam failure, you'll see a lot of the Asian countries have poor people run out in front of vehicles. If it doesn't work, they actually run up and jump on the vehicle trying to claim they were injured. So these are focused more up close than further out. And with the dirty windshield, it seems to focus on the bugs and the dust and other things on the windshield. So I took it off to clean it, got all perfectly clean, went to snap this back in place, and it did not work. Now it may not be easy to see, but there's a little hump right inside of the cup there that made this almost impossible to get a good seal on. So it could work. Luckily, this little pin design, it's locked in right there. It's very difficult to see. There's a pin right there. It goes all the way through to this side. That actually showed pretty good for a second there. Right there's a hole. That's what you use for pulling that suction cup down. So you can actually push this down, pull the pin out. The whole unit comes out along with the spring. So I pulled it out and I actually switched it out with the other one we got from Telico, the C17, and got this camera working again so Shorty can run it for the daytime, nighttime, and get us a good quality test on the higher end camera first. Yeah, it came out perfectly well. I actually contacted Telico on this and advised them that, hey, here's the problem. I didn't yank straight down. I didn't use the tab, which these all come with this little tab here. When you take it off of your windshield, you need to pull it from there to break the seal, because these are not high end. They're not going to be, high dollar suction cups. You pull, you can break it. And I knew that beforehand, so I made sure to pull the tab. I think this just happened to be a weak spot in the construction. It actually almost looks like, yeah, it's going to be very hard to see. But right in there, there's, and you kind of see the black plastic actually intrudes into where the rubber mount should be. So it was just bad construction from the factory. They did it quick. They didn't have good quality control. Telico's not the one who makes it. They happen to just have it shipped. It's shipped from Amazon. So I called them or emailed them, let them know, hey, here's a problem. Sent a picture of that, and he sent me a new one. It did take a little while because it came from China, but this is what he sent me. So it's a different setup, slightly different design from the original, but it does slide on just fine. It's not quite as snug as the first, but I actually prefer that design, even though it hangs off the back slightly. This will allow me to remove it a whole lot easier. Just have to push against it, and I can take this off without removing this now. Before, this was a real struggle to get it locked in. So I prefer the replacement over the original. So, great customer service. They didn't dick me around or cause any problems. They simply got the pictures, apologized for the inconvenience, and immediately sent one out. And it actually came in Friday. So this one's now back up and running with its own setup. I've got the C17 back up and running. I reinstalled everything on it, so we'll be doing a review on that pretty soon. I'm going to go ahead and link in some video, daytime and nighttime. But as a basic description, once you watch the videos, I'll just be describing it here. The daytime is great. You can see everything around you. It's got a very wide angle, so you can see basically both of the supports for the windshield. You can see anything coming and going in front of your vehicle. You can actually read license plates and signs. Haven't had a single problem with any daytime driving. Nighttime is actually surprisingly good. Now, this does not have any true night vision. None of these cameras, especially under $200, are going to have anything close to true night vision. Night vision is expensive. Plus, night vision is going to give you a green tint to everything, and any light hitting night vision is going to completely blur it out. You won't be able to see anything because it's so bright. It enhances everything. So when they say they have night vision, I call BS for most of them. But a lot of these companies do claim night vision because it's able to see somewhat at night, and that's the company description who makes them. This does work well at night. Street lights inside of town, you can see the whole area perfectly. Street lights in a smaller town, it doesn't light up as well, but this camera does pick up the light very well. If you're driving down a backcountry road, you can see the street lights, the lines on the street, you can see the street signs, you can see their vehicles. So it's a great setup. It is for $50. An exceptional camera for what you might need for insurance purposes or just to keep record. Of course, the camera comes in this little plastic type bag, and it's mounted inside of the box. The little weird shaped cutout here is actually the camera is lens face down. Everything else is mounted on the side and below it, and the box itself is like this. There's your Telico, and it has your little pictures all over it. The box is actually quite firm for what it is. There's your explanation. I guess it's 170 degree and it's a 1080p. It's a very firm box. It doesn't crush in at all, so the box is very impressive on quality. So for the $50 the camera costs, I'm actually extremely impressed with its ability to handle night driving, daytime. It runs perfectly fine when it gets hot. You put your card in, you plug it in. If you have a constant powered power port, it will stay on all the time. It'll kill your battery. So if it's constantly powered, then you'll want to reach over here where you have your power button, hold it down, and kill it every time you stop. Turn your motor off. Unless, of course, you want to hardwire it and have a battery backup and have it on some kind of a sensor, then I believe it does actually have your motion and G sensor. So if your car is parked, somebody pulls in front, bumps your car, it'll come on and start recording, so it'll record their license plate. Or if somebody walks in front of your vehicle or another vehicle pulls up, it can possibly come on and record. I'm not going to test that theory because I don't have the proper battery backup for it, and generally it's not something I'm going to worry about here in our area or even in Springfield. It does have a battery. You see it comes on. It's not plugged in. However, the battery is not a great one. It's not designed to operate as a camera. See, it goes back off. It's not designed to operate as a camera unhooked. This is simply battery powered to maintain time and settings. Whenever you hook it into your vehicle, it's plugged in and you should leave it there. Whenever you bring it back in, if you want to unload it instead of taking the card out, you can plug it in, hook it up to your computer, pull the videos you want, delete the rest, or leave them on there. They'll be overridden without a problem. It's good to keep an extra cable that matches up to the mini USB. That way you can actually, if you get into an accident or you witness an accident and the cops want to actually review the video or have a copy of it, instead of telling them, oh yeah, I'll email it to you, which most emails aren't going to send this large of a file, or you got to put it onto a disc and drive it back down there, you can just pull the camera, plug it into their in-car cameras if they have them, or in-car computers, upload the video, there's their evidence. You're good to go. In today's world, the way it's going, cameras are becoming very reasonable on price and almost necessary. Shorty got into an accident not too long ago. That lady ran the green light, but she had to yield. She was turning left, Shorty had the green light to go straight. She was back a bit, so she proceeded through the light like she's supposed to. Older lady turned right in front of her, turned left, but went into her lane of travel, and she hit the brakes, couldn't stop in time. Lady caused the accident. It was a front end angle. It was the lady's fault. She got out. She honestly thought it was her. She had the right of way. She had the green. Luckily, her husband was in the vehicle behind her and advised, no, you were in the wrong. So her husband backed up Shorty's, claimed that, yeah, Shorty was right, this lady was wrong. Without that, there was no cameras on the intersection, no cameras around the businesses. It would have been word for word as to who was the fault. And without witnesses, there's no way to prove one way or the other, unless they could look back at the stoplight logs, if they have them, and see which light turned which way. So this can save you on insurance issues. If you have some idiot jumping in front of you and they cause an accident, if it's somebody you know who just got into an accident and you had the video to prove it wasn't their fault, or if it's an insurance scam that people are doing, they'll jump out in front of you or cut you off real quick, slam on the brakes without locking them up, so there's no tire marks. You slam the back end of them, they're going to claim you hit them in the rear end. No one's going to stop and wait for it to tell the cops what they saw. You got proof. Now it's not just your word against theirs, it's their word against the evidence. So it's a great tool to have. $50, not a bad price. It gives you everything you need. It's easy to take off if you have to. You don't want to leave it up in certain areas, but for the most part, this is perfect for keeping yourself safe, keeping your family safe. Your insurance may even cut you a break if you have an in-car camera, because if something happens, they're not going to pay out. So if you're looking into it, check with your insurance. But if you do want to get one, Telico, I'll link it in below. Great camera. It's a good option to go for if you're looking at the $50 range. It is clear. It works day and night. Night's not going to be night vision, but it is clear enough to see around you. If you have good headlights, if your headlights suck, it's not going to help. But if your headlights are good, it's going to show you everything you need to see. If you all like the video, hit a like. If you want to see more, hit a subscribe. If you're interested, hit the link below to the Amazon site and check it out. Thank you much.